Hey guys, welcome back to your Ashcast Vision. In this video we're going to continue with the little mini series on how to do things DIY. So let's grab some tools and let's crack on. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show the bender. We're not going to show everything we can do on the bender, but we are going to show the bends that it can produce and the radius that it creates on the bends. Now obviously for different structural pieces and different shown pieces as well, the radius on the bend is quite important to obviously get the overall look on the car. And we know that from doing like window radiuses, we know that from also doing like drip rails and things like that. So this is 18 gauge. We tend to use this on most of the outer body panels. Obviously we use thicker stuff on chassis rails and things like that. So 18 gauge, you can see this from 18 gauge. 18 gauge is also known as, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice a little piece of this off, and then I'm going to show bending it and then show what it actually produces in the bender. So you can see it's actually quite rounded on this back side. So to get that tire to bend, there is a couple of things you can actually do with this. First we'll show using the anvil, and we'll show what using the anvil does. All we're going to do is we're going to pop it on the anvil, and we're going to try and tighten that bend up using this tight angle here. Right, so we have actually tightened that bend up now, so it's not as rounded, it's actually more of a square now. But what it has done is it's sort of like bowed the panel slightly. Obviously we don't want the bows in these panels, we want them to be nice and straight. So one thing you can do is use the shrinker and the stretcher. So this is the shrinker and the stretcher. We've used these in loads of our videos. They are very handy. We can put this in either the shrinker or the stretcher depending on what we want to do with the panel, and try and straighten it out. Right, so this is the shrinker. It does exactly what it says on the tin and it bends things. Now as you can see, what it does is when you put your panel in there, it grabs hold of the panel on both the top and the bottom, and it actually pulls it in towards itself. So what you're left with is not a bad looking panel. That's actually now straight, that top edge. Now I'll show in a second two other methods you can actually use, one with a bender and one without a bender, to actually achieve a nice tight bend. But first what we're going to do is we're going to have a play about with the shrinker and the stretcher and show exactly what they can do. You can see we've actually made quite a nice radius there. Right, so this is the shrinker. So you can see here, it actually clamps the panel down and then pulls it apart. So it's pretty crazy what you can do with the shrinker and the stretcher. So we've managed to create this, but you can create whatever you want basically. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take two pieces of steel and we're going to show two more ways of actually getting this tighter bend on here. One of them we're going to use the bender and then use a different tool to actually get that, that tighter bend, and the other one we're not actually going to use the bender. Alright, so this is the same gauge as what I used on that other piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bend in one and then show how to tighten it up, and then I'm going to make a bend in the other but not use the bender that I'm going to use on this first one. So here you can really see, so this is the one that we tightened up, and then this is the one that I've just bent. There's quite a difference in the tightness of that bend. Right, so this is a door mounted vise. The reason I call it door mounted vise is because this bench is actually a door. Now this is a number 3 record. We can simply slap this into the vise, and then we've got a nice hard surface that we can actually try and tighten this bend up on. With just a little bit of tapping, you can already see that that's actually tightened that bend up there, as opposed to this side here, which is still quite radiusified. I'm going to show another way of bending a panel with this, again, 18 gauge that I cut earlier. So I'll show bending this with using the vise and not the bender. So for this one, all you're basically doing is you go into the bottom of your line, clamp it in nice and tight. Right, so with that said, say you wanted to now bend the panel upwards and make some sort of L shape, you can actually do that in the vise as well. Now, got these metal snips. What we can do is we can make a small cut in here, a bit of a, let's say a triangle, right angle, just like that. And then once this bends up, this should hopefully meet this side here. So if we pop that in the vise, and then we can just simply pull this down. You can see a nice L shape. Nice 90 degrees there. Right, so that is just a couple of things that you can actually do. Now there's many ways of doing different things, so there's no wrong, there's no right way of doing it. It all depends on what you want to achieve, what you're doing it for, and your budget basically. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Do let us know in the comments below what you do think of these short videos and these how-to series. There are loads of different techniques you can use. There's loads of different tools. We've got the plenisher over there, we've got the bender, the bead roller, we've got the English wheel. You know, we've got loads of things that we can actually show you guys. And there's obviously, like I say, there's different ways of doing things as well. So make sure you do check out our other videos on our channel as well. So with that being said, we will catch you in the next one.